On one hand, I can argue that this is not exactly what I want to see because we're still getting a little bit more diminished of Shin's squad. At the same time, as you have, or at least maybe I or a lot of people else, have to realize that as sometimes as Kingdom can be unrealistic, it's still a realistic manga by playing with that there are some things in man's life that are very not easily overcome, and this is what it actually reflects very deeply here in the Kingdom chapter of 507. And yes, I am the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about the chapter, of course. Everybody knows trauma, although not everybody have gone through trauma, because there are always different kind of traumas. I mean, do I have a trauma? Yes, I do, but I think it's more like the fact that I don't like to changes so very much. I don't like taking risks because I'm afraid I will lose everything. And that's actually a small scale on what can happen here. Now the two brothers are to step forward and they are to shoot arrows. As Yontawa's tribe also shoots their arrows, they are surprisingly good. Alas, though, the two archer brothers of Hishin units actually begins to feel not post-traumatic stress disorder. I think that's the wrong thing. Not nervosity either. I know I had a word for this, but I of course forgot what it is. But it has something to do with that trauma. They have yet to shoot a single living person. Although technically one could argue with, hey, they shot animals, didn't they? There are some who say that, well, shooting an animal is not the same thing as a person. Although I think that's actually an argument for PETA and the rest of the world, not us. Either way, the brothers feeling extreme amount of trauma or more nervosity in order to shoot. Not only because they have yet to shoot a living person, but also mostly because they are too close. I think the way by the bigger brother Tan says is that fact that they can clearly see the people's faces as they shoot them. I don't know if he's implying that they can see them die, or the fact that since they are so close, they can see them too, therefore shooting at them too. However, the younger one, even though he too shakes, he says, we came to this in knowing what we had to do. We have with our two things we must have, we did not expect. We needed a resolve and the fact that our hands wouldn't stop shaking. So he stands up, put up the arrows, and begins to shoot. And let's just say he shoots some nice one. His hands still shaking, he still delivers extreme accurate shot right in the eyes of the person and taking out them. He urges his brother to shoot. And even though the brother still shoots, he still too nervously and always misses until he actually breaks down crying. Out of frustration, out of fear, who knows? Well, that is actually one thing you can actually say. As I said in the beginning of this review, sorry if I stagger again, but that's just how my reviews are. This is actually a perfect example of reality insurers, as TV tropes would say. It's not easy for someone who hasn't experienced war before to just blindly shoot like that can't be easy. I think one person would say anyone who goes to war and do not feel fear is actually disturbed in the head. One can argue with me saying like, well then shouldn't the older brother be a little bit disturbed in the head? And then I'll say no, because his hand is still shaking. There is difference between fear and cowardice, so to speak. In one way they can sound exactly the same, but I think here is more like the fact of fear yet still moving on, almost like a cowardly lion, so to speak. There are those who can turn their fear into a weapon. If we talk real life, when not looking at war, stuntmen, they are the perfect example. Why? Well, I once talked to a professional stuntman, and he said that any stuntman that do not feel fear is disturbed in the head. because fear can become your weapon. And here was what that young older brother did, and unfortunately the younger couldn't. So he couldn't aim the one. But this distraction is just not enough for Baiju to reach the place with their built-in ladders. Now that Baiju is on the top, well, we're just gonna see massacre. Although we do get a sad note that we will not get a kingdom next week. Do not know why, but we'll see. Yeah, it's not exactly so very good to always see one brother always fail, but this is just how reality can be, and that's one of the kingdom's strongest points, so we shouldn't really complain about that. Although now I cannot help but wonder, is there a very high chance that one of the archery brothers are actually gonna die? I mean, not that they are the same like Bihei and his brother, but seeing this, I cannot help but wonder, isn't it very high chance that the older one, the shorter one, is the one that's gonna die, and Tan is the one who's gonna inherit his will, just because? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but who knows? Who knows? Either way, a good chapter about trauma and I mean, what was that word I was looking for? Not paranoia, stress. How annoying! I know I had it on my tongue. But psychologically, maybe that's what I was saying. It's not. This is a psychological battle. So I hope we will get a little bit more a glimpse of Shin soon. However, now that Bayu has reached the top, I think we're gonna see him go mad, and that will be something to see. But alas, no Kingdom chapter next week, so we will have to wait. So give me your thoughts if you have any.